The enemy stole years from you. Time, peace, relationships, health. But God kept the receipt for every single thing that was taken. And the receipt means the refund is guaranteed. If this sound reached your heart, hit subscribe. More music like this drops every week. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten joy. 2 verse 25. The thief came at night and stole years from your calendar. Seasons of joy replaced with seasons of survival. God watched the robbery, and instead of stopping it, He did something stranger. He kept the receipt for the arrival. Every stolen year has a transaction number in heaven's ledger, documented, dated, time stamped and filed. And the receipt God kept is the guarantee that the refund will be compiled. You can't get a refund without a receipt, and God never loses paperwork or misplace a file in the drawer. And the receipt God kept says the refund is coming, and it's worth more than what the thief saw. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, says the Lord tonight. And the receipt God kept is the proof that the refund is in flight. The receipt God kept, every stolen year has a receipt filed in heaven's ledger. And the refund is guaranteed. The receipt God kept, the thief took the goods, but God kept the paperwork. And the thief will be decreed. No receipt, no refund, but God never loses the documentation of what was taken from your hand. The receipt God kept, and the refund is bigger than the theft as planned. Proverbs says when a thief is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole from the store. And the receipt God kept doesn't just guarantee equal replacement, it guarantees 7 times more. Job lost, everything in one afternoon, but the receipt God kept produced double restoration at the end. And the refund that followed the receipt was so generous, it made the robbery look like a dividend. Your receipt is being processed right now. The transaction number is active. The refund is in transit tonight. And the receipt God kept says the thief owes you 7, and the payment is in sight. The receipt God kept, every stolen year has a receipt filed in heaven's ledger. And the refund is guaranteed. Oh, the receipt God kept, the thief took the goods, but God kept the paperwork. And the thief will be decreed. God kept the receipt. The thief is caught, 7 times return for what was bought, filed and dated, stamped and stored. The receipt God kept cannot be ignored. Oh, the receipt God kept, the refund for every stolen year is being processed right now. And the return is 7 times the original value. The receipt God kept, and the thief who thought he got away clean just discovered that God kept every receipt on the shelf too. From every robbery I accepted as permanent loss, thinking the thief got away, and the stolen years were gone forever. The receipt God kept, the paperwork is filed, the refund is in transit. refund is coming. Yeah. The world runs on an algorithm. Input equals output, effort equals reward, merit equals promotion in the line. But grace runs on a different algorithm. The input doesn't match the output, and the math makes no sense by design. The algorithm of grace says the worker who arrived at the 11th hour gets the same wage as the one who started at dawn. And the algorithm that runs heaven's economy makes the human calculator young. The algorithm of grace promotes the youngest over the oldest, forgives the worst over the best, and seats the last at the front of the feast. And the algorithm of grace says your qualifications don't determine your position. Your position determines your peace, at least. The last will be first and the first will be last. The algorithm of heaven inverts the line tonight, and the grace that runs the equation makes no human sense, but produces the most beautiful light. The algorithm of grace. The math of heaven doesn't add up by human standards, and that's the whole point. The algorithm of grace. 11th hour workers get full pay, and the prodigal gets the fatted joint. Input doesn't match output, merit doesn't match reward, and the equation breaks every human rule. The algorithm of grace, and the math that makes no sense is the most generous tool. David should have been disqualified, adultery, murder, cover-up, but the algorithm of grace called him a man after God's own heart. Rahab should have been excluded, a prostitute, but the algorithm placed her in the bloodline of the Messiah's star. The thief on the cross had 0 credentials, 0 baptism, 0 church attendance, 0 good works on the sheet, but the algorithm of grace gave him paradise in 1 sentence, and the equation was complete. Your resume of failure should disqualify you by every human algorithm known on the earth, but the algorithm of grace ignores the resume and calculates your worth. Yeah, the algorithm of grace. The math of heaven doesn't add up by human standards, and that's the whole point. The algorithm of grace. 11th hour workers get full pay, and the prodigal gets the fat to join. The math breaks, equation fails, human logic hits the rails. Last becomes first, worst gets the crown. The algorithm of grace turns it upside down. The algorithm of grace. The equation that runs my life doesn't follow human math, because grace divided by 0 still produces infinity. Yeah. The algorithm of grace. And the God who pays the 11th hour worker full wage is the God whose math defies every divinity. From every human calculator that said I don't qualify, and the numbers don't add up, and the equation rejects my application. The algorithm stopped reading your own story. The chapter got too painful, and you closed the book and walked away from the shelf. But God left a bookmark on the exact page where you stopped so you could find your place. When you return to yourself, the bookmark is not a judgment, it's a kindness. It says, I know you'll come back. And when you do, I saved your spot. And the page where you stopped is not the last page. There are chapters after the bookmark that carry a different plot. Life got too heavy and you closed the book on your dreams, your faith, your calling, your fire, and your desire to try. But the bookmark God left says the story continues the moment you decide to open it. And the page is still dry, for I know the plans I have for you. And the bookmark holds the page where the plan resumes tonight. And the story continues the moment you open the book back to the light. The bookmark God left. I close the book on my own story, but God saved my page, and the chapter continues. The bookmark God left. The page where I stopped is not the ending. It's the pause between the venues. The story has more chapters, and the bookmark proves that God expected me to come back and keep reading ahead. The bookmark God left, and the page is still open where I left before I fled. Peter closed the book after the denial, 3 failures, and he went back to fishing like the story was done and the calling was dead. But Jesus reopened the book at breakfast on the beach, and the bookmark was right where Peter left it. Do you love me? And the story resumed instead. Jonah closed the book and ran to Tarshish, but God reopened it inside a whale. And the bookmark was on the same page, go to Nineveh. And the bookmark that God leaves never falls out, because the reader never closes the book. Even when you leave, your bookmark is waiting on the exact page where you stopped reading. And the chapter after the bookmark is better than every chapter before. And the bookmark God left says, come back to the story. There is more. The bookmark God left. I closed the book on my own story, but God saved my page, and the chapter continues. Oh, the bookmark God left. The page where I stopped is not the ending. It's the pause between the venues. I closed the book, God saved the page, I walked away, He held the stage. The bookmark waited for my return. The story continues. There's more to learn. There's more to learn. The bookmark God left. I am opening the book again, and the page God saved for me is exactly where I left it. And the next chapter is the best one yet. The bookmark God left. Peter reopened his, and Jonah reopened his, and tonight I reopen mine without regret. was more planned.
The bookmark God left.
The bookmark God left.
The bookmark God left.
The story continues.
Peace has a frequency, like a radio station that's always broadcasting. The signal never stops. You just have to tune in. And tonight this music is tuning your dial to the exact frequency where peace has been broadcasting all along. Stay. The best song on this album is still ahead. Subscribe so you never miss one. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. John 14 verse 27.
Peace is not a feeling that comes and goes with circumstances, like the weather in the sky. Peace is a frequency, a station, always broadcasting,
Always on.
and the signal never dies. The problem is not that peace disappeared. The problem is that your dial drifted to a different station. Fear has a frequency, anxiety has a frequency, and your dial locked onto the wrong vibration. But the frequency of peace is still transmitting the same signal Jesus left before he ascended to the throne. And the frequency of peace says, tune the dial back to the tone. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. The frequency that
Jesus left.
is still broadcasting tonight, and the dial just needs to turn back to the signal of the light.
The frequency of peace
Peace is a station
that never stopped broadcasting.
I just drifted to the wrong dial. The frequency of peace. Fear took the frequency, anxiety stole the signal.
But peace has been playing all the while.
The signal never stopped, the station never closed, the broadcast never ended on the airwave. The frequency of peace, I'm tuning back
To the frequency that saves.
Jesus slept in the storm because his dial was locked on the frequency of peace, and the waves couldn't change his station or his rest. David wrote psalms in caves because his dial was tuned to peace, even when the enemy was at his chest. Paul sang in prison because the frequency of peace doesn't depend on the location, only on the connection. And the frequency of peace broadcasts from the inside out,
Not from the external direction.
your storm didn't knock the station off the air. It knocked your dial off the frequency, and the dial just needs a turn. And the frequency of peace is one adjustment away from the burn. The frequency of peace. Peace is a station
That never stopped broadcasting.
I just drifted to the wrong dial. Oh, the frequency of peace. Fear took the frequency, anxiety stole the signal.
But peace has been playing all the while.
Turn the dial,
Find the station
peace is broadcasting.
without cessation.
Fear took the signal,
Anxiety stole the tune.
the frequency of peace is playing in the room. And turn the dial,
The frequency of peace
turning my dial right now.
Back to the station.
That never stopped broadcasting.
And the signal is locking in.
And the signal is locking in.
The frequency of peace.
And the peace that Jesus left is still on the air. And my spirit is tuning back to the frequency within. From every night I lay awake on the frequency of fear, thinking peace had left the building and the station had shut down. The frequency of peace was broadcasting the whole time, and my dial just needed to turn around.
The frequency of peace. The frequency of peace.
I found the station.
Prototype is the original model, the first one made by the designer's own hand before any copies were produced on the line. And you are God's prototype, not to copy, not to duplicate, not a version of someone else's design. The world keeps telling you to become a copy of what works. Copy the successful, copy the famous, copy the approved. But the prototype was never meant to look like a copy, because the original was already proved. God didn't use a template when He made you. He started from scratch with a blank canvas and original code. And the prototype that God designed was never meant to travel someone else's road. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb, fearfully and wonderfully made tonight. And the prototype was designed by hand, not manufactured by a line in the light. The prototype, God's own hand, and I was never meant to be a copy of anyone. The prototype, fearfully and wonderfully made from scratch with original code under the sun. The world says copy what works, but the prototype says the original was the work and the copy's the counterfeit. The prototype and the designer made one of me and broke the template after it was lit. David couldn't fight in Saul's armor because the prototype doesn't fit inside someone else's template or design. He took off the armor and picked up 5 stones because the original doesn't need another's line. Moses couldn't be Aaron and Aaron couldn't be Moses. Each prototype had a function the other couldn't replicate. And the prototype says stop trying to fit into a mold that was never meant to be a fate. Your prototype has features that no other model carries. Specific gifts, specific wounds, specific stories, specific assignments. And the prototype that God designed was made for alignments. The prototype, I am the original model designed by God's own hand. And I was never meant to be a copy of anyone. The prototype, fearfully and wonderfully made from scratch with original code under the sun. not a copy,
the original,
not a version,
the intentional.
God made one, then
Broke the mold.
the prototype is worth its weight in gold. The prototype. I stopped copying and I started being the original that God designed by hand before anyone else was considered. The prototype and the features that make me different are the features that make me the model God engineered and treasured. From every mirror where I tried to look like someone else, and every mold I forced myself to fit inside. The prototype,
I am the original,
and the designer made one of me with pride. The prototype, I am the original. I am the original. I am the original.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Every device has a reset button when the system crashes, when the screen freezes, when nothing responds to any command. You hold the button down and the system reboots. Same hardware, same components, but a
fresh start from the brand.
God has a reset button for your life when the system of your soul has crashed and nothing is responding to your prayers or your efforts. He holds the button down and everything reboots. Same yo,
Same DNA,
but a
fresh start with new deserts.
the reset doesn't erase your memory, it clears the malware, the viruses of
Fear,
shame, guilt, and unforgiveness that corrupted the operating system. And the reset button says the crash was not the end, it was the reboot before the most powerful rhythm. Behold, I am making all things new. The reset button of heaven reboots everything tonight, and the system that crashed is about to restart with the most powerful light.
the reset button,
The crash was not the end, it was the system preparing for a reboot that changes everything. The reset button,
the reset button,
same hardware, same hearts, but a fresh start with cleared malware and no more suffering. The screen froze, the system crashed, nothing responded to any prayer or effort or demand.
the reset button,
And God just held it down with his hand. Saul crashed on the Damascus road, blinded, frozen, system failure. And God held the reset button for 3 days and rebooted him as Paul, the apostle of grace. Jacob crashed at the river Jabbok, it dislocated, name change. And God held
the reset button,
and rebooted him as Israel in its place. Oh, Jonah crashed inside a whale,
3 days
of system failure in the darkest belly of the sea, and the despair. And the reset button vomited him onto shore with the same assignment and a brand new operating system and fresh air. Your system just crashed, the screen is black, nothing is responding, but God's finger is on the reset button right now. And the reboot that follows the crash will be the most powerful version of you somehow.
the reset button,
The crash was not the end, it was the system preparing for a reboot that changes everything. The reset button,
the reset button,
same hardware,
same heart,
but a fresh start with cleared malware and no more suffering. System crashed, screen went black. God held the button, brought me back.
Same hardware, fresh start. The reset button restarts the heart. The
reset button.
The crash I just experienced was not the death of my system. It was the forced restart that clears every virus and every corrupt file.
The reset button.
And the version of me that boots up after the reset is the cleanest, fastest, most powerful version by a mile. From every crash where the screen went black and nothing responded, and I thought the system was permanently dead. The reset button, God held it down,
and the reboot is loading,
and the new version is ahead. The reset button,
the reset button, the reset button.
the system is restarting.
Your flight wasn't cancelled, it has a layover, a stop between the departure and the final destination on the route. The layover feels like the trip ended early, but the boarding pass still has the final city printed on the foot. You're sitting in the terminal between flights. The first leg is done, the second leg hasn't boarded, and the waiting feels permanent and long. But the layover is not the destination, it's the pause between two runways, and the next gate announces your song. Abraham had a 25-year layover between the promise and Isaac, the longest terminal wait in history. But the boarding pass still said Father of Nations, and the layover didn't change the mystery. For the vision waits an appointed time, though it lingers, wait for it, because it will certainly come tonight. And the layover between flights is not the cancellation, it's the connection to the light.
The layover,
My flight wasn't cancelled, it has a connection, and the second leg is about to board any minute. Layover,
the layover,
the terminal feels like the end, but the boarding pass still has the final destination in it. Abraham waited, Joseph waited, David waited. Every layover felt permanent, but the next flight always came.
the layover,
And the final destination hasn't changed its name. Joseph had a 13-year layover in prison between the dream and the palace. The terminal was a cell, but the boarding pass said Prime Minister still. Moses had a 40-year layover in the desert between the murder and the mission. The terminal was signed, but the boarding pass said Liberator and the fill. The disciples had a 10-day layover in the upper room between the Ascension and Pentecost. The terminal was silence, but the boarding pass said power from above. And the layover always ends when the next flight arrives with love. The layover is almost over,
the screen just updated,
your gate just changed. The announcement is about to call your boarding group, and the layover that felt permanent is about to release you from the loop.
the layover,
My flight cancelled, it
has a connection,
and the second leg is about
to board any minute.
the layover. Oh, the terminal feels like the end, but the boarding pass still has the final destination in it. Not cancelled,
Just connecting,
not ended,
just redirecting.
the terminal is temporary, the boarding pass is permanent. The layover ends at the next firmament.
The layover,
The screen just updated and my gate just changed. And the next flight is boarding, and the final destination is everything God promised.
the layover,
And the 13 years in the terminal, the 40 years in the desert, the 10 days in the room were all connections, not cancellations. Honestly, from every terminal I sat and thinking the trip was over, and the flight was cancelled, and I'd never reach the destination.
the layover,
The boarding pass never changed, and the next flight is now final boarding with no hesitation.
the layover, the layover,
Now boarding.
Yeah. Yeah. Every region has an accent, the way the words are shaped, the way the vowels bend, the way the rhythm sits on the tongue. And heaven has an accent too, a way of speaking that sounds like home to the soul that has been away too long. The accent of heaven doesn't sound like religion, it doesn't sound like rules, it doesn't sound like guilt or shame or condemnation. It sounds like a father saying welcome back, it sounds like rest, it sounds like the end of the separation. When the prodigal heard his father's voice running toward him, the accent was unmistakable. That's home, that's where I belong, and I fit. And the accent of heaven is the voice that makes your spirit say, this is it. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me tonight. And the accent of heaven is the voice your spirit
recognizes as the light. The accent of heaven,
There is a voice that sounds like home to my spirit,
and I recognize it
without being taught. Oh,
the accent of heaven,
it doesn't sound like religion or guilt, but like the welcome I always saw. The prodigal recognized the father's accent, and the sheep recognized the shepherd's tone from the field. The
accent of heaven,
and my spirit knows the sound that makes the wounded heal. Samuel heard the accent 3 times before. Eli told him that's God. The accent was unfamiliar to his ears, but familiar to his soul. Mary heard the accent from Gabriel and said, let it be. The accent carried an authority that made her whole. The disciples on the road to Emmaus didn't recognize Jesus by sight, but when he broke bread, the accent hit. Their hearts burned on the way. And the accent of heaven bypasses the brain and speaks directly to the spirit, where the deepest recognition stays. Your spirit recognizes the accent
the voice that gives your restless spirit its joy.
The accent of heaven.
There is a voice that sounds like home to my spirit,
And I recognize it without being taught. The accent of heaven.
It doesn't sound like religion or guilt, but like
The welcome I always sought.
sounds like home,
Sounds like rest.
sounds like welcome.
Sounds like the best.
Not religion, not condemnation.
The accent of heaven.
Is the invitation.
The accent of heaven.
The voice I'm hearing right now sounds like home to my spirit, and I didn't have to learn it. I was born knowing it.
The accent of heaven.
And the accent that bypasses my brain and speaks to my soul is the voice that says, come home and sit. From every religious voice that sounded like guilt, and every rule that sounded like punishment, and every sermon that sounded like shame.
The accent of heaven.
Sounds nothing like that. It sounds like a father whispering my name.
The accent of heaven.
The accent of heaven.
The accent of heaven.
That voice sounds like home. Mercy lives in the margins, not in the headline, not in the main text, but in the white space on the edge of the page where nobody reads. The margin is the space between what you deserve and what you receive. And the gap between the two is where mercy plants its seeds. You deserve the verdict, but mercy wrote an appeal in the margin that the judge read before the gavel fell. You deserve the consequence, but mercy added a footnote that changed the outcome of the cell. The margin is narrow, but the mercy that lives there is wider than the ocean and deeper than the text on the page. And the margin of mercy says the main story might say guilty, but the margin says freedom at every stage. His mercies are new every morning, great is His faithfulness tonight. And the margin of mercy rewrites the verdict in the narrowest space of light. The margin of mercy, the gap between what I deserve and what I receive, is where mercy lives and breathes. Oh, the margin of mercy. The main text says guilty, but the margin note says free. And it weaves narrow space, wide disgrace. The margin is small, but the mercy that fits inside it changes everything on the sheet. The margin of mercy. And the footnote overwrites the headline in the feet. The woman caught in adultery, the main text said stone her, but Jesus wrote in the margin of the sand, and the accusers walked away. David's main text said death for murder and adultery, but Nathan delivered the margin note. God has taken away your sin, and you will not decay. Peter's main text said 3 denials equals disqualification, but the margin note was 3 questions on the beach. Do you love me? And the footnote restored. And the margin of mercy says the narrowest space on the page carries the widest grace ever poured. Your main text might look damning, but check the margins. Mercy has been writing footnotes that the headline doesn't show you yet. Oh, and the margin of mercy is about to overwrite every debt. Oh, the margin of mercy. The gap between what I deserve and what I receive is where mercy lives and breathes. Oh, the margin of mercy. The main text says guilty, but the margin note says free. And it weaves a narrow margin,
Widest grace
small footnote.
changes the case.
The headline says guilty,
Margin says free.
the margin of mercy
Rewrites
the decree. Hey!
the margin of mercy.
Oh,
The margin of mercy.
oh,
Margin of mercy.
oh, oh, the margin of mercy. The footnote that mercy wrote in the margin of my story just overruled the headline, and the verdict changed. Oh, the margin of mercy. And the narrowest space on the page carried the widest grace, and everything rearranged. From every headline I read about myself that said guilty, failed, disqualified, and done, the margin of mercy had a footnote that said forgiven, restored, and the margin won.
Margin of mercy.
The margin of mercy. Check the margins. Every movie has a soundtrack, the music that tells you how to feel before the dialogue does the telling. And your life has a soundtrack too, a melody assigned to every season that has been playing underneath the shelling. The soundtrack of your winter was minor key, slow, heavy, deep, the kind of music that makes the audience hold their breath. And the soundtrack of your spring is about to shift to major key, because the composer knows the season after death. You don't choose the soundtrack, the composer does, and he matches the music to the scene with precision only heaven can produce. And the soundtrack of your life is about to change key, because the scene is changing its hues. He has put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God tonight. And the soundtrack that was minor key is shifting to major in the light. The soundtrack of your life. Every season has a melody, and the composer is about to change the key. The soundtrack of your life. The winter music was heavy, but the spring music is about to set me free. Minor key to major key, the scene is changing and the soundtrack changes with it in the hall. The soundtrack of your life. And the new melody is the most beautiful of all. Moses' soundtrack changed at the Red Sea, from the minor key of slavery to the major key of freedom in one split second of water and dry ground. David's soundtrack changed from the cave to the throne. The minor key of hiding became the major key of ruling with the crown. Hannah's soundtrack changed from weeping in the temple to laughing with Samuel on a hip, minor to major in one. Answered prayer. And the soundtrack of your life is about to modulate, because the composer is changing the key right there. Your minor key season served its purpose. It built the tension, the depth, the contrast that makes the major key hit harder when it lands. And the soundtrack of your life is about to shift at the composer's hands. The soundtrack of your life. Every season has a melody, and the composer is about to change the key. The soundtrack of your life. The winter music was heavy, but the spring music is about to set me free. Minor key ending, major key starting. The scene is shifting, the soundtrack is departing. Winter's melody fades, spring's melody plays. The soundtrack of your life is changing today. Oh, oh. The composer just lifted his hand, and the orchestra is shifting from minor to major. And the new melody is the most beautiful thing I've heard. The soundtrack of your life. And the season that was heavy and slow is being replaced by a melody so light it carries every word. From every minor key season, where the soundtrack was so heavy I could barely breathe under the weight of the bass. The soundtrack of your life. The key just changed, and the melody of spring is filling the space. The soundtrack of your life. The soundtrack of your life. The key just changed. The key just changed.
Oh, yeah. Every good house has a spare room, a room prepared for the guest who hasn't arrived yet, with clean sheets and a pillow and a lamp. And God's house has a spare room with your name on the door, prepared before you knew you needed a place to camp. Jesus said, in my Father's house are many rooms, and I go to prepare a place for you. The spare room is not empty, it is ready. And the preparation of the room happened before the invitation was sent to your hand already. The spare room has everything you need: rest, provision, safety, warmth, all laid out by the host who anticipated your arrival. And the spare room says you were expected, not tolerated, and the welcome is for your survival. In my Father's house are many rooms, and I go to prepare a place for you tonight. And the spare room that was prepared before you arrived has your name written in the light. The spare room. There is a room prepared for me, with my name on the door and clean sheets on the bed. The spare room. I was expected, not tolerated,
before the invitation arrived, the host anticipated the guest before the knock. The spare room, and the door has been open since the clock. Abraham was welcomed into Melchizedek's spare room. Bread and wine and a blessing from a king who appeared from nowhere with provision and grace. The Shunammite woman built a spare room for Elisha on a roof. In the spare room she prepared for the prophet, produced the miracle of a son in the space. Rahab's spare room on the wall hid the spies, and the spare room saved her entire family from the collapse of Jericho overnight. In the spare room that you prepare for God becomes the room where God prepares miracles in your sight. The spare room is ready, the door is open, the sheets are clean, the lamp is lit, and the host is waiting for you to walk in. And the spare room says you were always part of the plan from the beginning. The spare room, there is a room prepared for me, with my name on the door and clean sheets on the bed. Before a word was said, clean sheets, lamp lit, door open, perfect fit, prepared before I even knocked. The spare room was never locked. Spare room, the door just opened, and the room that was prepared for me has everything I need, and the host has been waiting since before I was born. The spare room and the welcome I'm receiving is not tolerance, it's anticipation, because the room was prepared before the horn. From every night I slept outside, thinking there was no room for me, and every door I assumed was locked or reserved for someone else. The spare room had my name on the door the whole time, and the sheets were clean, and the welcome was felt. The spare room, the spare room, the room was always mine.
The recipe was almost perfect. Every ingredient measured, every step followed. But the one thing missing was the one thing you dismissed as too small. The overlooked ingredient completes the recipe. Share this with someone who needs peaceful music today. This sound was made to be passed on. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118 verse 22.
The recipe was almost perfect, every ingredient measured, every step followed, every instruction obeyed to the letter and the line. But something was missing, one overlooked ingredient that sat in the back of the pantry behind the bigger, more obvious spice and the wine. The overlooked ingredient is the one you dismissed, because it was too small, too ordinary, too familiar to matter in the dish. But the recipe doesn't work without it, because the overlooked ingredient is the one that grants the wish. too small, sitting in the back of the family pantry behind 7 taller brothers and their height. And the prophet said, none of these, send for the overlooked one. He's in the field tonight. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone of the building tonight. And the overlooked ingredient is the one that completes the recipe in the light. The overlooked ingredient, the thing I dismissed as too small, is the thing the recipe cannot work without. Oh, the overlooked ingredient, sitting in the back of the pantry behind the obvious, while the recipe had doubt. David was overlooked, the stone was rejected, the mustard seed was dismissed for its size. The overlooked ingredient, and the smallest thing completes the recipe as the greatest prize. The widow's 2 coins were the overlooked ingredient. Everyone watched the gold, but Jesus noticed the copper that nobody counted in the plate. The boys' 5 loaves were the overlooked ingredient. The crowd was 5,000, but the lunch that fed them was too small to calculate. Gideon was the overlooked ingredient, the least in his family, the weakest in his tribe. But the angel called him mighty warrior, and the overlooked became the main. And the overlooked ingredient says, the thing you dismissed is the thing God has been reaching for in the rain. Your overlooked gift, your overlooked talent, your overlooked prayer, your overlooked act of faith is the missing piece the recipe needs tonight. And the overlooked ingredient is about to become the main course in the light. The overlooked ingredient, the thing I dismissed as too small, is the thing the recipe cannot work without. Oh, the overlooked ingredient, sitting in the back of the pantry behind the obvious, while the recipe had doubt. Too small, they said.
Too ordinary,
Too familiar,
too temporary.
but the recipe fails without the least.
The overlooked ingredient,
Completes the feast. The overlooked ingredient, the thing in the back of my pantry that I never considered important, is the exact thing
God has been reaching for.
Oh, the overlooked ingredient, and the recipe that was missing. Something was missing,
The one thing I ignored,
from every gift I dismissed as too small, and every talent I hid because it seemed too
ordinary.
to matter. The overlooked ingredient,
God reached past the obvious,
and grabbed the thing that made the recipe factor.
the overlooked ingredient.
The overlooked ingredient, the smallest thing completed it.